Hey Ash, what makes a stock hot?
Are you old enough to buy a stock?
Maybe.
Fair enough. But first, let me reposition myself in front of this microphone, conveniently, so that you can hear me. So one day, a long time ago, Tyrone Jackson, aka the Wealthy Investor, taught me 4 things that make a stock hot. And I know what you're thinking. A guy named Tyrone taught you about stocks? I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about this guy. Very handsome, very smart. Anyway, in case you want to know what makes a stock hot right now and you don't want to watch the whole video, here they are. 1. Stock price above 20 bucks. 2. Consistent top line growth. 3. Float under 50 million shares. And 4. Institutional ownership. I'm going to explain why these and where you can find this info. First up, we have the stock price. A hot stock typically trades over 20 bucks per share. Why? Because institutional investors, think the big players like hedge funds, mutual funds, pension funds, avoid lower price stocks, which are seen as too risky and volatile. When you see a stock climb past 20 bucks, it then becomes attractive to these deep-pocketed investors because it signals stability in financial health. Next, we have consistent annual and quarterly top-line growth. Translation, the company's revenues are increasing year after year, quarter after quarter. Consistent growth means a company isn't just staying afloat, it's thriving. This kind of growth is like catnip for investors. It's a signal that the company is expanding, maybe taking market share, or rolling out new products that people want. This helps build long-term confidence in the stock. So, if we go to Yahoo Finance and type in ticker symbol NVDA for NVIDIA, and we go down to financials, what we'll see here is beautiful annual revenue growth as it goes from $16 billion in 2021 to $60 billion in 2024. And then we click on the quarterly tab, we see that it shows nice quarterly revenue growth as we go from $13 billion on July 2023 all the way up to $30 billion in July 2024. So you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consistently increasing growth. Now let's talk about float. And I'm not talking about the stuff in your root beer. In the stock market, float refers to the number of shares that are actually out there, freely trading. It's the shares that haven't been locked away in a vault or hidden under a mattress by insiders. It's the stock that's floating around for the rest of us mere mortals to buy and sell. A hot stock often has a float of less than 50 million shares. Why does that matter? Simple, supply and demand. When there are fewer shares available, it means there's less supply. So when demand spikes, let's say because of a new product launch or great earnings report, the price can shoot up fast. A small float magnifies the price moves. Now let's go back to Yahoo Finance and type in DECK for Deckers Outdoors. Click on the Statistics tab, and in the right column under Share Statistics, we find Float. And the float here for this stock is about 25 million shares. Very good. Under 50 million. Since we're already on this page, let's talk about the 4th and final trait that makes a stock hot. Institutional ownership. And as you can see here, we have over 99% held by institutions. This number represents how much of the company's stock is owned by big players like hedge funds, mutual funds, and pension funds. Now, if we go up to the Holders tab, we can see which institutions actually hold this company. And as you can see, they are names you've probably heard of, like Vanguard, BlackRock, and Morgan Stanley. Institutional investors have the resources to do in-depth research, so when they take a large position in a stock, it often sends a signal to smaller investors that this company is worth paying attention to. When these institutions jump into a stock, they can push it higher, and when they stick around, it shows confidence. So, let's recap. A hot stock often has a price over 20 to attract big institutional money, consistent top-line growth that signals strong business momentum, a float under 50 million shares allowing for fast price movements, and institutional ownership that shows the stock is backed by major investors. Remember, these characteristics can help you spot a stock that's heating up. But as always, do your own research and consider the risks before making any moves. If you enjoyed and learned something from this content, hit that like button, subscribe, share it with somebody.